各位现场所有与会的贵宾们，各位早安，各位好，欢迎嘉宾们在今天早上特别拨冗莅临，一起来到 Computex 2024 Arm CEO 的主题演讲。我是今天的主持人 Grace 邢恩，非常荣幸和嘉宾们共襄盛举今天的盛会。在今天 ，Arm 的执行长 Rene Haas 他将会发表加速从云到端的 AI 创新这一项的主题演讲。我们将会带领现场所有的嘉宾们一起来探讨人工智慧所带出的机会以及创新。同时呢，我们也将会为现场的贵宾们来分享我们的 Arm 从云端到我们的边缘是如何促成人工智慧在全球运算节点上的运行。So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to welcome everyone to join the Computex 2024 Arm CEO Keynote speech, and I am Grace. I will be today's MC. For today, the Arm CEO Rene Haas, he will be here in delivering us the keynote speech of enabling AI from the cloud to edge. And we will be here to exploring the opportunities and innovations which will be brought by AI. What's more, he will also share with us how the Arm facilitates the operation of AI across the global compute touchpoints from the cloud to the edge. 而在我们今天整个活动的一开始呢，我也希望借由在座与会贵宾们的热烈掌声，让我们共同先来欢迎到 Arm 台湾总裁曾志光 CK 来到我们的当中，和我们在座所有的贵宾们说几句话。So, to kick off today's event, I would like to invite everyone to give the round of applause in welcoming CK Jin, the president of Arm Taiwan, to come up to the stage. Let us welcome CK. 掌声欢迎。
大家早安。
好。
早早。Good morning. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Arm CEO Keynote at Computex 2024. Computex has been always a cornerstone of Taiwan's ICT industry. For myself, I still remember around 20 years ago, around 25, 20 years ago, attending Computex as a college student. I enjoyed visiting various booths to get a sense of latest technologies like motherboards, CPUs, memories, and monitors. Back then, Computex was positioned as a trade show around personal computers. But nowadays, Computex has evolved itself into an expo around computing and AI, now known as Computing Expo instead of Computer Expo. Today, computing permeates every aspect of our lives, transforming the way how we work, live, and play. At the heart of the transformation is Arm. Our technology and computing platforms are spearheading the journey of AI revolution. Here at Computex, later, our CEO, Rene Haas, gonna guide us the journey to the next generation of AI innovation. And this journey is a collaborative effort relying on a robust ecosystem of partners, from semiconductor partners to software developers. And every OEM, ODM here in Taiwan plays a crucial role in this revolution. And this is why Arm is committed growing global partnership and working closely with industry leaders and developers particularly here in Asia. Together, I believe we can accelerate AI innovation and bring about a new era of technological advancements. Finally, I would like to extend my gratitude to Taitra, the organizer of Computex, for their unwavering support and for providing this invaluable platform. Now it's time to introduce my good friend, Mr. James Huang, Chairman of Taitra, to the stage. 谢谢大家 ，Thank you， 感谢。
Thank you, CK。接下来就让我们共同来欢迎中华民国对外贸易发展协会的董事长黄志芳 James 来到舞台上方。Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome James Huang, the chairman of Taiwan External Trade Development Council, to give us his remarks. Let us welcome James.
Well, thank you, CK. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Computex, I'm thrilled to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Rene Haas, CEO of Arm. Computex, as CK just indicated, in the past 4 decades, Computex has always been the platform for computing power. From PC to internet, to IoT, to mobile, to cloud, and now to Gen AI. And as we all know, Arm is a global leading semiconductor IP and compute platform provider, powering many devices globally. Their architecture and solutions are essential in daily technology. Arm continually pushes technological boundaries. Mr. Haas' strong ties with Taiwanese semiconductor industry highlights his dedication. His frequent Computex appearances provide valuable insights. Today, he will discuss Arm's role in driving AI across global computing platforms, emphasizing swift time to market with efficient solutions for developers. Technological progress benefits the entire industry, and we look forward to Mr. Haas' insights, which promise to inspire and strengthen the AI community. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Rene Haas, CEO of Arm, to the stage.
Thank you, James. Thank you for your sharing. 接下来，我们将带领现场所有的嘉宾们进入到我们的主题演讲环节。我们将会一同和 Arm 的执行长 Rene Haas 一起来探讨人工智慧变革的时代 ，AI 是如何在我们的社会当中带出前所未见的机会，以及创造超越我们想象的影响力。So next, we're going to move on to today's keynote speech, and we will join Arm CEO Rene Haas to discuss how the AI continues to bring the unprecedented opportunities and create impacts which beyond our imagination in the era of AI transformation. So, ladies and gentlemen, the future is here.
At Arm, we've been thinking about the future ever since we began. In that time, Arm has been at the heart of the world's largest technology ecosystem. An ecosystem that embraces many of the world's most innovative companies, including more than 18 million software developers. Together, we've shipped nearly 300 billion Arm-based chips. With our high performance, power-efficient processors, the Arm platform enables advanced computing in the most complex AI supercomputers. to low-power devices at the edge. As the AI revolution opens up more and more opportunities for society, unlocking potential we've never seen before, Arm is the AI compute platform for everyone. Changing lives for the better. How we work, how we play, how we connect with one another, our homes, our families, our well-being, and how we travel together into the future. Whatever shape it takes, Arm will be at the heart, because the future of AI is built on Arm.
让我们共同掌声欢迎 Arm 执行长 Rene Haas 为我们带出今天的主题内容：加速从云到端的 AI 创新 ，enabling AI from cloud to edge. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Rene Haas, the Chief Executive Officer of Arm. Let us welcome Rene. 掌声欢迎。
Ni hao, 我是 Rene Haas, and that will be no other AI model that will be creating Mandarin for you. It is fantastic to be back in Taiwan for Computex. As CK mentioned, as Jane mentioned, Arm and myself, we've been here a lot. For me personally, it is always special to come back to Taiwan. I think this is probably my 20th-ish or so Computex, both presenting, attending. It's just been amazing. And congratulations to James for having such a fantastic lineup this year. So I always know I'm back with the sights and smells and features that are unique to Taiwan. Of course, when you arrive into the airport and you drive downtown and you see this building, you know you're in Taipei. Now, when you smell this, not necessarily taste it, you also know that you're in Taiwan. Full disclosure, I've smelled this many times, but I've never actually had the courage to taste it, but I've heard it's pretty good. You know, one of the other most amazing things about Taiwan and Taipei City is, of course, the night markets. Whether it's Xinlin or the famous Rohe Market, I think the oldest night market in Taipei City, it is always an amazing experience to visit. Something that I've done, you know, in my past. But thinking about it this year, I've been warned that when other CEOs make this visit, it's not quite as intimate as it used to be in the past. So I was talking to our team, our security team, our IT team, and you know, now that Arm is a public company, yes, we have a security team. I think that person is one person, by the way, so calling it a team is a broad thing. And the team really said, you know, if you really want to do this, Rene, you need to be really careful because this is not like it was a few years ago. You know, Arm is public. You're now a public figure. People know who you are. You're really not going to be able to do this and not be mobbed. And I said, no. I think it'll be okay, and we'll bring a lot of people. And if I'm really mobbed by folks, you guys can keep them back. So last night, I tried to go out. And those two people behind me, that's actually our security crew. They actually fell asleep during the process. But in all seriousness, it's fantastic to be back in Taiwan again at Computex. It is an honor and a thrill to be able to talk about Arm to you today in a very different way than I could last year. You know, 12 months ago, when we were in Taiwan the last time, we were in what is called the quiet period running up to our public offering, and there wasn't much that we could say or I could talk about, but this year is different, and I really want to explain to you where we've come as a company, but more importantly, why this age of AI is so critical for us and where Arm plays a role. Now, I want to start with a bit of a story. And for those who have seen me present in the past, you may have heard this story before, but I think it's important if we go back in time and look at what was the very first mobile computer. Now, I dare say I had one of these. This is the Apple Newton. I think it's probably over 30 years old by now. I think this was early 1990s that this product was introduced. And this product was amazing. You can see it had a very large display. It had a stylus for handwriting recognition. It also had a lot of native applications. Had something called dates. That was actually around scheduling. It had things around contacts, et cetera, et cetera. It was a device that was way ahead of its time. Now, as they say, success has many fathers, and failure is an orphan. Now, this product was a failure from a commercial success, but it was way, way ahead of its time in terms of what it enabled. And it was also, really, I would say, the birth of Arm. Arm was chosen to be the processor inside this product. And for those who don't have all the history, this was a joint venture done with Apple and VLSI Technology. Arm got kicked off as a company, and they chose a 20 megahertz processor. Yes, 20 megahertz. So we're not in that range anywhere close today. But there were a couple things that were really important for this product. Number one, because of its size, it needed to be very, very cool thermally. Now, back then, a lot of devices ran off ceramic packages. So the Arm architecture had to fit into something that was plastic. It also had to run off a battery. It also had to be low cost. But that's how Arm was born. And one of the cool stories about this product, it's a true story, that when the very first Arm CPU was running off a bench and the power was actually off, the device was still running. And it was running off the leakage current that was coming off the rest of the circuit board. Point of the story is, we were born to be power efficient. It's in the DNA of the company. It's all we know. And it's really served us well over the last 30 years. Where we are now, Arm is the most pervasive compute platform in history. There's nothing close. Between our CPUs, our GPUs, our NPUs, the entire platform is all now pervasively Arm-based. And the world runs on Arm. If you go back to the very first Computex, I think 1981 was the time. And 1981 was also about the time that the IBM PC was introduced, which I think was the very first real volume driver for modern computing, even before the Newton. And if we go back in time to 1981 and just look at the volume that has been driven across computing over these last 40 years, it's stunning. You see the legacy PC, you see Arm, and you see a number that's kind of hard to even fathom. Arm, with our partners, have shipped more CPUs, not only than legacy PC or open source, but I would dare say, if you combine every computer architecture ever invented, and you add them up, they're not in the same order of magnitude as Arm. I like this graph so much, I'm going to play it again. It's absolutely unbelievable. And this kind of growth drives a lot of innovation It drives a lot of opportunity. It also creates a lot of questions, though. And this is one that's being talked about a lot in our industry, particularly when we think about AI and everything that's enabled. And that says, do we actually have enough energy to drive all this computing? Now, we have seen some amazing innovation around AI just recently, whether it's generative AI, around large language models, whether it's around small language models, training, inference, et cetera. We're in this interesting dilemma where the better the processors get, the more it begets computing, the more it needs more energy, the more it begets computing, et cetera, et cetera. And there are a lot of questions whether there is actually enough energy to drive all this demand. This is a projected US data center energy demand to the end of the decade. And if you look at these numbers, roughly speaking, the expectation or projection is that 20% of the US energy grid will be data centers by the end of the decade. Now that is both exciting and impossible at the same time. There is no way that this can continue without some level of change to take place. Now there is a reason that Arm has become so popular when it comes to these data center applications. And that's if you go back to our DNA. Again, we were born running off batteries. It's the world's most power-efficient CPU architecture. Every modern device, whether it's your automobile, whether it's your security camera, whether it's your cell phone, whether it's your PC, everything needs a CPU. That's table stakes. And increasingly what we're seeing in the data center is a very rapid movement to Arm. Graviton was the very first partner that we worked with, over 60% more energy efficient than the previous generation on another architecture. Microsoft announced their product Cobalt, 40% more efficient. These are both based upon the Arm Neoverse platform, which drives incredible energy efficiency across the data center. Keeps going. Google just announced their product, Axion, just earlier this year, 60% more energy efficient. And what that's going to drive is increasing Arm deployment in the data center. Because of this energy efficiency challenge, there's just no way that we are going to be able to keep things in balance without optimizing at every angle. And Arm plays a huge role there. And even the most advanced chips for training in the cloud, Grace Blackwell, 25% improvement over a previous implementation with Hopper that used an external CPU. So those type of power efficiency savings are driving incredible innovation. But it's not really the power efficiency, which is amazing, that makes Arm who we are. What really makes Arm unique and special is a software ecosystem that's unlike anything the planet has ever seen. Go back in time to the Newton. Had its own OS, ported to Arm. It was very specialized back in the day. 30 years ago, there were lots of operating systems. 30 years ago, there were a lot of vertical solutions. The world became very horizontal. And as it became horizontal, Arm has become the de facto choice for every major operating system in the world. Windows, Android, Chrome, iOS, Linux, Linux for the auto, Linux for the data center. 18 million developers. More software developers develop on Arm than any type of processor ever. And that level of pervasiveness across the operating system drives an incredibly rich application ecosystem. Every major application runs on Arm. ChatGPT, WhatsApp, Line, Facebook, Oracle, SAP. could fill this chart 10 times over with every major application. It's the link between the application, the operating system, and the underlying hardware that enables the pervasiveness of ARM across every application. Now, this application area I find personally quite interesting. Go back to Computex of 2012. I remember that one quite vividly. I wasn't working for ARM at the time. I was working for another company, a green company. But I was very closely working with ARM at the time. And we announced a pretty cool product called the Surface RT. Don't know how many folks remember that product. I know Bob O'Donnell remembers that product because I remember he was grilling me in terms of all the software it didn't run. But he liked the hardware. The hardware was great. We had a Tegra 3 processor, very, very low power. It was also very, very efficient in terms of battery life. The hardware was great. So why didn't this product fly off the shelves? There were no Windows applications that were native to ARM, meaning that nothing was optimized, nothing was performant, nothing was efficient from a battery life standpoint. Yeah, there were apps that ran. You could run Office. It was a little bit not a full Office experience. We didn't run iTunes, for those who remember that back in the day. The hardware was great, but it was too early. What a difference 10 years or 12 years makes. Now, the number of native applications that run on ARM for Windows are pervasive, popular, extensive, whatever word that you want to use. All the developer tools are there. So essentially, there's really nothing that you can't do on a Windows on ARM PC. And now, with this modern AI PC, every application you care about runs on Windows on ARM. Now, Microsoft has brought on Slack, Spotify, even Chrome. So these AI PCs that are ARM-based going forward, they're going to run incredibly well. The battery life is going to be fantastic. But it's really, again, because of the hard work done between ARM, Microsoft, the developers, to have a huge ecosystem. And if you move forward and think about, well, how does that link together relative to how I think about hardware and software, it really is a testament to the ARM platform and why we are so extensive. So in mobile, where we were born, every major operating system runs on ARM, the applications run on ARM. As a result, chip makers and hardware makers are able to deliver hardware that they know is just going to work. And that's really, again, driven by this symbiotic relationship between the application layer and the compute platform. And that finds itself across all the verticals. Same thing on PCs. Whether you're running Zoom or Slack, Windows or Mac OS, your PC is Dell, Lenovo, Microsoft, Samsung, lots of announcements I know they're going to be taking place this week. They just work. And they just work because that platform has been optimized to run on ARM. Get lots of questions in terms of, well, why is ARM so popular across other applications like automotive? The formula is very similar. You have the application layer, whether it's Waze, Maps, QNX, Android, Linux. This is why companies like Mercedes, like GM, like Toyota can work with silicon manufacturers and deliver fantastic experience. And of course, it applies in the cloud. And this is why we have an incredible amount of momentum behind that volume chart that I showed you. However, the fun is really just getting started. Now, AI, on one level, has been around a long time. Voice recognition, fingerprint recognition, things of that nature, that's AI on some level. But the Big Bang moment when ChatGPT was introduced, and suddenly the capability of what large language models, generative AI, text-based or token-based inputs and outputs have changed everything in terms of device capability. And if we think about the amount of time it's taken to get to 100 million users from an application standpoint, it's stunning if we look at what has taken place. It took Netflix 10 years. It took Twitter/X, sorry, Elon, 5 years. Instagram, 2.5 years. TikTok, 9 months. I thought TikTok was probably about as fast as you could possibly get. But ChatGPT, 2 months. And now, what you have with ChatGPT is suddenly a brand new cadre of applications and a brand new cadre of experiences. Through Hugging Face or Gemini or Anthropic or Meta or Microsoft, everything's changed. But what's important is that AI is not just training a large language model and waiting for somebody to use it. AI needs to run everywhere for the population to take advantage of all of its capability. Like we've seen with every application, every piece of software over history, the software needs to run from the edge of the tiniest devices to the cloud. So AI needs to run absolutely everywhere. However, the quandary, if you're a software developer, is that they just want it to work. Now, go back to the chart that we talked about relative to 12 years ago with Surface RT and where we've gone to today. All of this innovation can take place with all of this AI capability, but if developers are not able to take the innovation they're doing with AI and have it run on the hardware in a performant, power-optimized, highly executable and predictable state, there is no AI. Well, of course, we have an answer for that. And it's called Kleidi, Arm KleidiAI. These are compute libraries that just make it easy for developers. And if there's anything we've learned at 30 plus years at Arm, as great as the hardware is, as great as the experience is when you bring out a new chip, if you don't have the software, if you don't have something that developers can get access to, the hardware's not going to do you much good. So in the AI world, developers will work on their models in frameworks such as TensorFlow, PyTorch, Meta Llama 3, MediaPipe, some examples. What Kleidi does is, in between the high-level language that the models are being developed in, by taking access, making use of these libraries, calling these libraries, they are now able to develop something in software, and by just calling these libraries, will just work. Because the libraries will then take advantage of what's inside the underlying hardware to make it performant. And we've done so much in our CPU architecture, whether it's Neon or vector extensions or matrix extensions for acceleration of AI modeling. But if the developer doesn't know it's there, they're not going to be able to take access to it. And on the flip side, if the applications can't take advantage of it, then all the goodness that you hear this week about all these great apps running, if there's nothing that makes it visible to hardware, it's just not going to work. KleidiAI solves that. And where's it going to fit? Well, when you think about the top of the stack, as we talked about before in terms of the handset, the silicon vendor, the operating system, Kleidi just sits on top of that. And it makes it just easy for developers. Now, of course, I'm the CEO of Arm. I have a bias that this is a great thing. So of course I'm going to say wonderful things about it. But it's probably easiest if I allow our customers and partners to talk about it. So I first want to introduce via video Mr. Wonjun Choi, EVP at Samsung, who is in charge of Samsung Mobile.
For decades, Arm has played a significant role in enhancing mobile experiences for billions of people worldwide. Consumers always demand more: gaming on the go, fast browsing and streaming, and to work and create with the flexibility. Arm's innovative, high-performing, low-power compute platform has driven the mobile industry's rapid evolution to smarter and richer experiences. With Arm, Samsung Galaxy has consistently set the bar of what is possible in mobile with groundbreaking power and efficiency. Whenever Galaxy set out to innovate, Arm provided a platform to meet these demands. As we enter the new era of mobile AI, Samsung is transforming people's lives with Galaxy AI, making them more seamless, productive, and creative. And Arm has been with us every step of the way. Now, the Galaxy Book for Edge extends this experience to our next-gen Windows Arm PCs. This is just the beginning. We believe Arm's technology continuously advances, and Samsung can extend AI experience with more devices, not just smartphones and PCs, but with many more to come. Samsung is committed to continuing our technology innovation and unlocking new possibilities with Galaxy, together with Arm.
So Galaxy AI, Gemini, the Galaxy platform using Kleidi is going to be able to really unlock the true potential of the application. Without it, there's no way for the developers to actually really have an experience that people want. Now, this applies everywhere. KleidiAI is not just for mobile. KleidiAI is a horizontal strategy. It will apply across PC, multiple markets, and it allows for a software stack to be highly optimized. And again, easier for me to say it, but we've worked very, very closely with partners across the ecosystem. Obviously, working with partners such as Samsung is very critical in terms of the deployment, but we also need to work with folks who actually develop the models. So who better than Sai Chaudhary at Meta to talk about how Llama fits into this framework?
Meta and Arm have been working on optimizing the entire technology stack for large language models. This starts with Meta Llama 3, working on PyTorch, all the way through to Arm KleidiAI to take advantage of the latest CPU advances. Beyond that, we're also collaborating very closely to make sure that the Meta Llama 3 family of models work efficiently in a very performant manner on a wide variety of devices. As Arm technology is being used increasingly not only on the edge, but also the data center, we're excited to see what comes next in the world of AI.
So he says it better than I can in terms of how the stack lines up. It is a full top-to-bottom stack that applies not only across what we're doing with mobile and PC, but as you heard him say, it applies to auto and applies to cloud. Now, what's the benefit of all this? Is this just marketecture, or is there really, really benefit in terms of unlocking the performance? Well, we're already seeing some incredible speed-ups. Computer vision, 75% faster than without using the KleidiAI libraries on OpenCV. And again, this is just the same hardware taking advantage of these libraries, and now you unlock the performance. Generative AI, looking at Llama through Microsoft, almost 200% faster. And keep in mind, this is existing hardware using these libraries. Just imagine what happens as the flywheel starts to spin and you get more developer innovation, understanding exactly how to make efficient use of the libraries, And then Arm continues to add more and more underlying features across our platform. And then gaming. Almost a 7x increase. Just incredible in terms of the innovation there. So when you think about AI, and you think about AI really being a benefit to everything that we do in our lives, it's going to have to find itself to every single endpoint. And it can only find itself to every endpoint if there's efficiency. And it can only find a way to that efficiency if developers can get access to the hardware. So who better to talk about that than my friend Rick Osterloh, who also could not be here today. Rick has a new job at Google. He's got a big job at Google. He was previously managing all of the Pixel hardware. He's now picked up everything around Android and Chrome, so he is SVP of platforms, which when you think about a platform strategy and Arm being a platform company, it's natural that we work incredibly close with Google. So I'll let Rick tell a little bit about how we work together.
Thank you, Rene. Although I couldn't be there in person, I wanted to send my congratulations and highlight some of the important collaborations between Google and Arm. Google and Arm have a long history of working together to bring new experiences to users. And nowhere is that partnership more important than our collaboration on AI. AI has the power to transform the technology landscape, and Arm's power efficiency is critical to meeting the exponential growth needed in compute. We're excited to support Arm's KleidiAI to accelerate AI workloads on current and future Arm v9 CPUs via XNNPAC. And we're bringing Gemini to Arm-based systems throughout the Android ecosystem. Our joint collaboration will enable Android developers to build AI-powered applications across all Arm-based devices, with the integration of KleidiAI software and Google's latest LLMs. We're also partnering on Web GPU and Chrome browser, where our joint work has resulted in dramatic browser performance improvements on current Android devices. We're excited to continue collaborating across these joint priorities. These efforts are critical to make the possibilities of AI a reality. Thank you, and I hope you all have a great Computex.
Thank you, Rick. So I could go on for probably an hour plus just talking about the link between developers and the hardware and all the work we're doing across the partners. But actually, we have some product stuff to talk about. And who better than Chris Berge, who is our SVP of our client line of business, to talk about that. We have announced some amazing new technology on the product side. So you heard me talk about libraries and developers, but there's a lot of great product stuff to talk about. So I'm going to turn it over to Chris, let him talk about what we've introduced this week in terms of our compute subsystems for client, of which we're incredibly excited on, and then I'll wrap up. So please welcome Chris Berge.
Thanks, Rene. All right, it's great to be here. Great to be back in Taiwan. But as Rene said, we are just super excited about our announcement of CSS for client. And this is the first time that Arm has introduced physical implementations of our CPUs and GPUs in leading edge 3nm nodes. What this means to our ecosystem is that now they can take proven cores, physical implementations in these leading 3nm nodes and get to market faster with greater confidence. They can focus on their differentiation around the platform and what Arm v9 architecture can bring to their next generation products. You heard Rene talk a lot about v9, and v9 is critical it's critical for this next generation of platforms. We introduced V9 with many of you potentially in attendance back in 2021. And we introduced it as the platform for the next decade of computing. If you look at over the last several years, the amount of matrix capabilities, vector capabilities we've brought to the architecture have been amazing in providing uplifts around ML, AI, and CV workloads. It's also bring tremendous security and platform robustness capabilities. And lastly, it's brought capabilities to help accelerate AI. So as we go beyond in this next generation, we're going beyond the hardware, as Rene highlighted, and making sure that developers also have the tools required to enable and take advantage of these next generation CSS platforms. So specifically for this next generation platform, this new Arm CPU delivers the industry's highest Arm IPC with an over double-digit gain in the instructions per clock. We've taken our lead on GPU and we're advancing that even further with advances around ray tracing and additional performance and efficiency. And then lastly, we've got 3 unique microarchitectures that will allow for scalability from everything from laptops and next generation AI PCs to smartphones to digital TV and wearables. So when we thought about this platform and what did we want to accomplish, we had a couple key goals. One was benchmarks are nice, but we really wanted to accelerate real difficult Android workloads. We wanted to make sure that we were providing the best platform to turbocharge these AI workloads. We also wanted to continue on our heritage that Rene spoke so greatly about being power efficient and continue to bring that to the platform to help offset the performance needs of these next generation workloads with the limited thermal and battery budgets available. And then we wanted to provide a scalable platform for these next generation of AI PCs and other computing platforms. So first off, we have the new Arm X925 CPU. For those of you who follow us, you're going to say X925. Wow, that's a different nomenclature than you guys have used in the past. And you're right. And the reason we've done it is first, we wanted to highlight V9.2. It is the platform for the next generation of consumer electronics and computing. 2, it's unbelievable the amount of computing we brought to the platform. This is the highest amount of additional computing capability that we've brought for generation over generation for the X-class CPU. And you can see it there, 36% uplift on Geekbench with additional IPC as well as frequency enablement. We've got 41% in AI performance going from last year's X4 core to this year's X925, and that's specifically on time to first token. So your LLM will be more responsive by being able to provide the response that much quicker at the first token. So how did we do this? Well, we came up with a grounds up new microarchitecture with our widest decoder and vector capabilities ever, increasing the TOPS capable in the CPU by 50%. We continue to innovate around additional cache configurations, which allow you to keep these CPUs fed and also be able to cache the information close and locally. And then lastly, we're providing delivered performance. And this is coming from closely working with several leading foundries and designing the CPUs to take advantage of these next generation process improvements. So you get a full technology stack from the transistor through the CPU. Immortalis 925 is also a new platform for us. And our engineers have done an amazing job of providing additional performance. Look at these numbers. 37% better performance, 34% faster inference. And Arm, if you remember, was the first to bring ray tracing to mobile smartphones in 2022. And we're still increasing the capability of ray tracing and becoming a real part of a mobile platform with up to 52% increased ray tracing performance. We're also excited that CSS for client extends to the AI PC. We've talked about the performance gains in X925, but it also pairs with A725, which is our efficiency core, allowing for a next generation heterogeneous computing environment where you can have the performance when you need it and yet the efficiency and multi-day battery life that you really desire. This is a foundation for the next generation of AI PCs, and it's built on V9. V9 has brought some amazing security and platform enhancements to Android, such as MTE, BTI, and PAC. Those same capabilities are going to come to AI PC, as well as SVE2 enablement with Kleidi, as Rene so well highlighted. We're in an interesting time. Moore's Law is not giving us the gains that we used to get, but yet the relentless demand of year-over-year cadences of new platforms that are keeping up with these exploding workloads around AI and the like. It's driving tremendous pressure on schedules around the complexity of hardware, software, and all of this integration. Add on top of that longer cycle times in fabs due to these new technologies, or maybe advanced packaging that even extends cycle times even further. So what is Arm doing? Arm's providing physical implementations of our CPUs and GPUs in many of these leading foundries. This gives our customers a jump start on their designs, providing high-performance, frequency-optimized layouts in the latest 3-nanometer nodes. It allows plenty of differentiation around the rest of the platform, albeit the NPU, multimedia acceleration, and the like. And we're excited to talk about several partners have already gotten silicon back and are seeing significant results from these CSS physical implementations. Rene talked so well about how the computing ecosystem is so wide and so diverse. And this is not true on any platform more so as it is on Android. And you're seeing the handset continue to push the capabilities of computing and efficient computing, something that you can do in the palm of your hand. In order to get to those improvements, we need to continue to push what's capable. And that's where we brought KleidiAI that Rene so well highlighted. But beyond KleidiAI, we're also adding Kleidi CV, which accelerates for computer vision. AI applications are typically starting by targeting the CPU. Why? The CPU is the most pervasive platform, as well as a very capable platform. And for 70% of third-party Android apps, that's where the application stays. So we need to continue to accelerate these platforms and allow developers to focus on what's next. And by focusing and targeting Kleidi, they're able to enhance their design today, but also take advantage of the next generation V9 features that'll continue to come forward. We couldn't be more excited about the future around CSS for client. We'll continue to evolve our CPU and GPU designs year over year, as well as our CSS platform with physical implementations. We're focused on enabling developers tools, solutions, libraries, and performance. And we're excited about a future of AI applications that run on Arm. With that, I'll hand it back to Rene.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for all the nice words. Your performance review will reflect all the kind things that you just said about me. But as Chris covered, we have a huge amount of innovation that we're doing on the product side. There is no way to make AI the experience that we want it to be and needs to be without the interlock between the compute platform and the developers. And again, developers, more than anything else, do not want friction. Software developers are great people, they're smart folks, but they don't want to have problems with working around difficult hurdles to take advantage of the hardware. And when we think of the innovation that is capable with AI, yes, it's one thing to have a search that's much quicker or a call center that is going to be able to replace what humans do today. But one of the things that really excites me most about what's going on with artificial intelligence is around healthcare. And you think about things like protein folding and what it takes to replicate a drug. I was talking with one of the executives from one of the big pharma companies in the UK last week who told me with products such as AlphaFold that drug research that takes 10 years can be shaved down to 5 or 3, which is just incredible in terms of what it can do. So we are all in AI with trying to get this move forward for the industry because we have the most complete platform, the most popular CPU ever invented. ARM devices are everywhere. It is incumbent upon ARM to do our part in making this happen. We are extremely committed, both in terms of what it does for the industry and what it does for the planet. So with Kleidi, we anticipate over 100 billion ARM devices ready for AI at the end of 2025. Just an incredible number. And I think with this, not only will the industry be reshaped, but our planet will be reshaped for good. Thank you so much.